This is the end of my selling season video on the bows that I've sold this winter. I'm manager of a nature preserve, and it's April, even though Michigan doesn't know it and it's still snowing out, so I'm back to work at the preserve. So even though I'll probably make and sell a few bows here and there, scoop cat, my major focus is going to be my main job, so my bow selling season is pretty much over. Anyway, I would like to first give a shout out to a fellow by the name of Phil Silva, who was with woodbows.com. Some years ago, I was reading an article in Primitive Archer magazine, volume 12, issue 3, to be specific, and Phil Silva had written an article about a paddle bow, a board paddle bow, red oak probably, and it inspired me to investigate making bows out of dimensional wood. Previously, it was always staves, as this elm, or I even have the remainder of a stave that I made a bow or two out of, Pacific yew, so I am familiar with yew. But I went to the board bow side of the fence so I could produce really nice bows at a price that a lot more people can afford. So I went from stave, senior backing, to my first board bow that I developed because of the inspiration of Phil Silva's article, my paddle bow. Now this differs a little bit from his. Everyone has their own kind of idea, and I developed this over the years. This is the final development with that rounded back that actually mimics being made from a stave that I talk about. My crest, 3 dots, and dyed tips, although hopefully you can see this, a little fadey right here, intentionally black faded into black cherry with the soft edges. I think that's pretty. Paddle bow. From there, I went to a long bow that would be good with the reenactors. Now I'm not going to get into a big treatise on the design of English longbows slash war bows, medieval period, not Victorian, as far as the cross section, you know, whether or not they should be flattish or narrow, deep with round bellies. It depends on what wood you're using. I'm sure medieval lawyers understood the difference in physical properties between yew and elm, which vary greatly. I would encourage people to go to a site, warbowwales.com, and read up on it on their own. I shall say that back in the day, back in the medieval day, they didn't use trilaminates. They didn't have hickory. They didn't have osage, ipe, or yellowwood. They had yew. This is a version of specific yew, but it operates the same, which makes a fast longbow if you make it narrow, deep with a round belly. And they had white ash, of course, probably used oak, because oak is a brilliant bowwood, elm, and other hardwoods. But mine typically is between 72 and 74 inches. This is a shorty. This is 70 inches. I just happen to have 70-inch piece. That's why it's 70 inches. Scoop tips, which is relatively recent on my part, evolution of my bows. However, there was a remnant of an old, ancient, not old, but ancient European bow that had these little scoop tips that look like little spoons, and I really like that. Roundish back, roundish belly, built-up handle. I used descending sizes of leather rectangles and then glued them together and then wrapped it to give it a rounder feeling. In red oak. Oak again, probably was a bowwood used in merry old England back in the day, and instead of trying to force it into the model of a yew longbow, which thrives on deep, round-bellied, narrow cross-sections, following the engineering of the wood, the properties, and I'm sure the people back then who made a lot of bows, or even a few bows, understood that you have to match the design of the bow to the wood type instead of like laminating using wood that they didn't have, like Hickory, blah, blah, blah. From there, I went to developing my Flatbow, which really got its start in bows that were supposed to look like Iroquois bows, Mohawk. But then I changed it a little bit, the tips more or less. I didn't include these. For bows that were for an archery camp, so little kids could do some rough tailoring and finishing and have their own wooden bows. I like that handle. Hopefully you can pick up the colors of it. There we go. And these bows are fantastic canvases for decorating. It's a rather stiff one, stiffer than I normally sell. It's about 55 pounds at 24 inches. Make it fast. Fantastic canvases for decorating. There's one version, then there's another one, shorter, 45 pounds at 24 inches. Little mild recurves. I don't know if they give it any kick, but with short bows, recurving the tips like this help the string from sliding off of pin knocks. Stitched rawhide handle, a little bit furry trim. These aren't there for any structural aspect, they're just decoration and dyed pattern. Next up on my Flatbow is a little bit of steam bending, a little reworking of the tips to look like a Northern Plains bow. Sinew back. You have a remarkable little bow, and I've sold a few of these this summer, or winter rather. Next up, Muligan bed. People used to just call several forms Holmegaards, but Holmegaard, Denmark and Muligan bed, Denmark are two different places, and there are several different styles of bows, and the Muligan beds had these needle-like tips, a little thickened so they didn't bend there like levers, wider limbs for all the bend. Fast bows, although they're ancient, many thousands of years old, the engineering having these thick, narrow tips that didn't bend and all the bending taking place in this made for a really fast bow, so they were quite sophisticated for an ancient design. Now I have my monster bow, and I call it a monster bow because I developed it for a fellow that wanted that. He had me build a bow, and then he would be the archer to break the world's record for the heaviest longbow. And his was Hickory, because it can stand a tremendous amount of strain. 175 pounds at 27 inches. His draw was 27 inches. The thing was able to stand a 31-inch draw because with mechanical advantage I was able to pull it back that far. So who knows what the draw weight at 31 inches is. Asymmetric, shorter bottom limb, longer upper limb, so it's a center shot. This is quite a bit lighter because it's mine, and I kind of like that little design. I like these 81-inch bows because you can draw it way back to your ear. And it's like supercharging the arrow when you go beyond 28 inches of draw. When you start getting into 32, literally, I mean, it's like supercharging the arrow. Then, I wound up selling a snaky mulberry bow to a fellow who hid it in his truck. He was a meter reader inside my bows, and I wound up buying one, the snaky mulberry, for $350 and hid it in his truck for a while because he didn't want his wife to know he bought another bow. And he said that I should make a board bow that I can offer at a reasonable price that mimics being made from a snaky stave. And this is what I came up with. It's more or less just like that mulberry bow. It had this gink right here and then just kind of a swoopy gink on the end. My red oak snaky bows are either backed with rawhide, which this one is, smoked. I'm assuming bought it from Mike Yancey at Pine Hollow Longbow, so it has that dark, that's not been dyed, that's probably smoked. Look to it, urethane, spar urethane finish, so it's totally weather protected. Mild recurves. Let's see here. Oh, this bow is... there we go. And this one, I think I scaled it 55 pounds at 20 inches, although I flight shoot at 30 inches so it can take a longer draw. That's my snaky bow. Sold a few of those. Mike Yancey, again at Pine Hollow Longbows, also sold this stuff. It was a cloth backing that looked just like rattlesnake. In fact, even like a foot away after it was urethaned, you would be hard pressed to tell the difference between that cloth backing and real rattlesnake hide, because it was applied with some kind of photographic imagery. It's beautiful stuff and nice bows. Let's see. Then, this is actually a stave bow. This was made from a natural maple stave. It's a beautiful little bow. Get up there so you can see it. Approximately 55 pounds at 24 inches. Really fast. This inspired me because I love the Modoc's style of painting. This is not authentic Modoc. This is kind of my own slant on it. That inspired me to produce, one of them is strung, my modified paddle bow. This is a prototype. The real ones would have not the roundish back, but a rounded back that would mimic being made from natural stave. Deeper recurves. Again, this is a prototype. And let me get up here. Do a little sweeping view of the paint job. Give me a nice canvas to express myself in art. There we go. Ooh, that's beautiful. This one again is about 55 pounds at 28 inches, but I flight shoot at 30. And lastly, this is a stave made bow. This is heavy. This would fit the standards of a war bow because at 30 inches plus it would be over 80 pounds. How to build an ash bow. I'm not going to try to build a white ash. This is stave. Long bow or war bow that's going to have narrow, deep, and a rounded cross section because it's a good way to mess up a bow if it's white ash. That's how you do it in but white ash, And this was also featured in a video that I made. Beautiful, heavy, white ash bow. And I think that is a good place to end. Thank you for watching, and if you can do anything about this weather, it'd be sure nice to see sunshine and the snow ending. Thank you very much.